we are executed in parallel to Firefox. We're not spoofing another process, we're not spinning another process, we're resident within Firefox itself. Now, by most of computers, the firewall or the host-based IPS system will allow Firefox to communicate with the external world. It makes sense. Now, at the same time, we're going to create HTTP traffic in parallel to the user surfing into a website. So let's say you will open a sniffer and we'll see what's going on. It will say, okay, I have my browser open, I have my website open. It makes sense that I will see HTTP traffic flowing. But some of this traffic will be actually Jinx and not the site that is visiting. So this is another very covered element that we're not creating any anomaly. We're using the browser user agent, all the default parameters. So in matter of fact, it looks like the user is actually choose to do it from his own browser.
The access rights for the file that you're overwriting, is it anything different to the actual executable of Firefox? Would it not be more beneficial just to overwrite the Firefox executable with a modified version?
Our goal was to use no code injection, no hooks, no stabs. We wanted to exist in a very virtualized abstract layer. We wanted to be as good as a rootkit, but without the undeprecation and the tails that a rootkit remains. Yes, you can change Firefox executable, and you can do a lot of other things in the same level. But let's think about it. Right now, there is no antivirus, and there is no malware scanner that probes this certain file. But you have 1,000 of other applications that will verify the integrity of 1,000 files on your system. So when someone will try to tamper with it, it will go like, oh, that's just wrong. That's the wrong MD5. Somebody hacked you. So in a way, we're merely an HTML script resident in one simple file. We leave no trail, and we don't make too much noise.
So I have one more question. Have you, so like when I install like a security product like McAfee, it does monitor some of the traffic I do and modifies the websites to get displayed with like various icons and so on and so forth. Have you tested this approach against different security proxies to see if any of them flag the JavaScript activity as invalid or alertable?
You have to remember that no JavaScript is transferred except the text of the function we need. The whole JavaScript is local on the computer. It can be transferred, but let's say it's local on the computer. The only thing that's transferred from the control side is what function you want to run. It doesn't look like JavaScript. It's just the Jinx send file and the parameter.
Is there any sort of persistence built in, say if the user was to actually discover this and see that it was modified and they don't want it and they get rid of it? Did you think about building in any sort of persistence otherwise or elsewhere on the computer since it's already compromised, as you're saying, to where it would be a little more persistent than someone that figures out that this is there and replaces it with the stock one?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
So say someone finds out that this is on their system and removes it. Did you think about instantiating any sort of persistence if that scenario were to occur, to where you could continue on next boot up, it would recreate this, or store it in the system restore or something?
We had some thought about maybe invading the cache files, or maybe putting ourselves in other more different locations. But we're basically holding on to the position which deleting the hidden window file on your desktop might cause malfunction in Firefox. So you're basically in a cache. If you delete this file, you might suffer some features won't be working properly. And once you have to have this file, you have to constantly check that it's not modified or does not include any special values in it. But right now, in the borders of what JavaScript can do, we cannot reduplicate ourselves or re-inject ourselves after the user has tampered with us. Our current assumption, if the users got on us, so okay, we busted.
A question, actually that leads me to the next question that I've been thinking about. This is, the hidden window file is required and there's a lot of stuff in it already, so I'm going to assume that you would append your stuff to the end of that?
No, the file is virtually empty.
Well, you just said that it would be required and it would have variables for your plugins.
I said, yeah, in some position, the file might contain information relevant to this plugin or other, but if we're taking this file, this is my computer, just taking this file and trying to see what's in it, you will just see that it's an empty HTML file. Here it is.
So if that file is read-only for Firefox 2 users, does that offer some level of protection?
Sorry, I didn't hear you quite good. Can you say it again, please?
If that file is read-only to, has some level of permissions that wouldn't allow writing to it, does that offer some protection for Firefox 2 users?
That depends on the way of injecting, of overwriting the file. We didn't discuss it here. We discussed from the point that we did overwrite the file somehow.
Right.
If you set it to read only, it might circumvent a few ways that injectors use to override it, but that depends on the injector.
Kind of appending on to my last question. So say someone does discover that they have this file and they replace it. Did you think about building anything into it? You have it register when someone is infected the first time so that you know that this new bot is online with you. Is there anything that you thought about putting in to let you know when it was sort of deregistered or someone had found they were infected?
Our current management software, if you like to call it that way, does not actually keep tracks of which bots came online and went offline. We do randomize some sort of a UUID for each bot, but it's not a real UUID in the matter of fact that we cannot identify the computer always. We can identify a session of Jinx, but no, we don't have any system that monitors or reacts to a position where somebody tampered with Jinx or caused Jinx deletion.
So do you have a development roadmap for features you want to add?
Sorry?
Do you have a development roadmap for features?
No.
Not yet?
No, we're not. As I said, we try to keep it clean. We try to keep it as a proof of concept. There's quite a very nested things you can do with that. We presented a couple of those, including conning people into solving CAPTCHAs, but we're not really trying to make any more damage than we already did. We're just trying to keep it friends with everybody. Yeah.
The file that's being passed from the workstation to the next location, is it passed in a clear or is it encrypted?
We can utilize HTTPS. We can make it to be SSL-wise with our remote server if you want, because it's, matter of fact, for us it will be a very transparent. Mozilla will basically, once we're trying to address an HTTP connection, Mozilla will do all the SSL for us. So we can use it encrypted, the command and control channels. But in our current demo, it's simply plain HTTP. Okay, well, we're going to be in the Radware booth playing in the Xbox. If you have any questions, feel free to drop by. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much.